Prince of Persia Warrior Within was my favorite Prince of Persia game growing up, and so today I wanted to look at some of my wishes for what I'd like to see if there is a Prince of Persia Warrior Within remake. So there hasn't been much news for the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake, and so I'm just making some other videos while we wait for anything new that comes up, and hopefully something new comes up. I just wanted to let everyone know that I did end up making an Instagram page for this channel, and there will be some repetitive content that you've already seen, but I'll add some new stuff that you might not see on this channel specifically. And also stay tuned for some Prince of Persia classic gameplay that I'll be trying to basically play and put on this channel, as well as some other games that are related to Prince of Persia that I'll put on this channel as well, because we don't really have much to talk about if there isn't anything new to talk about. But with that, make sure to subscribe and let's get into the video about the remake for Prince of Persia Warrior Within if it ever comes out. Alright, so the first thing that I would really like to see from a Prince of Persia Warrior Within remake, if it comes out, is pretty much more backstory, more gameplay relating to the events that occur between Sands of Time and the Warrior Within, where we see the Dahaka chasing the prince, and we get to basically feel and play with the prince as he becomes more scared and more basically depressed throughout this stage. Because I can understand where some of the individuals came from if they played Sands of Time first and then went on to Warrior Within. It is an abrupt shift, but I think it's justified considering what happened to him. But I think if we basically flesh that out and we actually get to play as the prince as he's running away from the Dahaka through all of this, it would definitely add more spice, more flavor to the story, I think. In fact, I found this leak a while ago from Reddit that was posted 6 months ago, way before the Sands of Time remake was ever posted. Some of the information is not accurate, but for the most part, it matches what we've seen so far. And one of the things that it mentions is that we will get a glimpse of Dahaka at the end of the Sands of Time remake. So we might actually get more backstory for the Prince of Persia Warrior Within remake if it ever comes out. The second thing I'd like to really see is more realistic models. Now, I know with the Sands of Time remake, they specifically said they were going for this magical feel, and they felt as though they didn't want it to be too realistic like Assassin's Creed or any other game. But I think for Warrior Within, it's really crucial that they nail that realistic model with it. And in fact, here are some images of the Warrior Within model that I would like to see. For example, there's a prince model in the original game during the cutscenes that looks really nice. This is just a picture, but there are the cutscenes themselves where the prince looks really good, and I think that would be perfect for an in-game animation. I mean, they have the resources to do that now, and in fact, here are some Valhalla clips where we can see how the game looks really good, and the prince can definitely look just as good. And I did find some concept art some people have made on Artstation, and this one is from Jacob, where we have the prince model according to his rendition. I really like what it's going for, except for the actual face of the prince, because I don't think it really matches what we've been seeing. But overall, I think the model is really detailed and going for that gritty but realistic feel that I think Prince of Persia Warrior Within should have. And we should definitely see a transition from the Sands of Time remake, from this magical place, but to this dark prince that has now transformed. And I think both the cutscene Prince of Persia that we see in the Warrior Within cutscenes, as well as the model itself in those cutscenes, are achievable, and that's something I would really like to see in the future. And so the third thing that I would like to see is more realistic graphics. If we have more realistic models, obviously we want to see more realistic graphics, and there isn't much else to say with this but here are also some concept images that some people have made on Artstation as well, and this one's from Edward, and look, it looks nice, but I think there's definitely lots of room where they can take this, where they can make the Warrior Within remake really nice. It's definitely my favorite game out of all of the games in the series, and if they do it right, it's a super fantastic remake that they can make out of this. Number four, the fourth thing that I like to see is more puzzles. Believe it or not, I felt as though the Warrior Within game, compared to all the other games, had less puzzles, and there was a lot of going around and trying to activate the clockwork towers. But I feel as though adding more puzzles would definitely help the game as well. Or maybe my memory is failing me. I can't quite remember how many puzzles there were in the game, but as far as I can remember, there weren't that many. Um, and for number five, what I'd like to see is more bosses, I'd say, but also the bosses having more depth to them. They're having different ways of beating them. Definitely, I think that's an area of improvement that can occur. The bosses were really great for the time, but I think with everything that's been going on in the gaming industry, that has pushed towards new gaming mechanics, and it'd be really nice to see more complex bosses, but in the Prince of Persia style and in the platforming style that we normally have. And that was something we actually saw in the Two Thrones game itself, but I think we can definitely see that come back in Prince of Persia, but in a more updated version. And I think right now I can't think of anything else. There's definitely so many things that I could wish for, but for the purpose of this video, this is all that I can really think about. There's obviously the music that they was, in my opinion, good in the original. There's so many things. The game's fantastic, and I really hope that with the Sands of Time remake, we actually see a Warrior Within remake, and hopefully a revival of the series, to be quite honest. But time will tell, and I'm just waiting for some new footage. My goodness, there has been absolutely nothing. It's been more than a month out. Hopefully something comes out, but like I said, I'll be making some Prince of Persia Classic videos, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that. And I'll try to find some other games, and make sure to follow me on Instagram for updates that you might not see in the videos, and I'll try to upload more. And with that, thank you everybody so much for watching. Have a fantastic day or night, and I'll see you in the next one.